Hi everybody, welcome back. Just having a little bit of a sort out in the garage at the moment, just trying to get things organised for spring. And yeah, I'll say spring, but just rewinding a little bit. Christmas has not been great. I've had a bit of a flu bug over Christmas. A couple of weeks ago I went up to the Lake District to see my friend Eddie Meek. There's a video on my other YouTube channel which is What's Robbo Doing? I'm going to check that out. It's about Eddie's story, having had a heart attack and a quadruple heart bypass. And Eddie's quite an active guy, so I went up to his place in the Lake District, and he's on the road to recovery now. But we went and climbed a mountain, and the following day we went and rode his bikes. But after that visit to see Eddie, I came down with a bit of a cough, which turned into a virus, which just wiped me out totally for Christmas. Absolutely wiped me out. 2 days before I was due to finish work at Eurotech for Christmas, I had to ring in sick, and I was just totally on my back, feeling really awful. And it's only just now that we're into the new year that I'm starting to feel myself again. I've still got a little bit of a chesty cough, but I am feeling a lot better now. But I am just having a little bit of time out from the bikes at the moment, because it's a British winter, and you know what it's like during the winter. You go out riding during the day, you come back to clean your bike and it's pitch black, and generally if you've been riding on a Sunday, you've got to go work Monday morning. So it can be like 2 or 3 days before you're getting the bike cleaned, and it's just a load of hard work, to be honest. You're always up against it with the daylight hours, and trying to get the things dried properly as well. It's problematic because the low temperatures, and if it's really cold, you've no water because the hose pipe's frozen up, and you can't jet wash your bike, you can't do anything. So I just thought, let's have a little bit of time out. Let's keep the bikes clean till spring. But the other thing is as well, I'm going travelling to New Zealand for a month at the end of January, so I thought there's no point in actually using the bikes from now until the point when I come back, which is going to be the first week in March. So I thought, let's get the bikes cleaned, get them tidied up, let's make a list of anything that I need for them, like the TSC 300 here. It needs a new kill switch on. I'm going to put a new clutch in it as well as a service item because it's now got 131 hours on it. It needs, well, I don't say it probably doesn't need a clutch, but I thought, well, to run it the next season, let's put a brand new clutch pack in, and it's good to go then. We'll probably run it to about 160 hours or so, then we'll change the piston. But at the moment, for immediate riding when I come back in March, it will need, or I'll put a clutch in it. And a few small little things that I would want as well are some new swinging arm guards, and we're going to put a new recovery strap on the front and some new wrap round hand guards on. So that's just a few cosmetic things that this bike needs. The TSC 300, we've had it since May 23, and yeah, we've had a couple of little issues with it, nothing major, but overall I'm really happy with the bike. The bike's still in good condition. I look after the bike. I like to keep your bikes clean, as you all know, and I can't really fault it for the money. It is a really good all-round enduro bike, and for hard enduro as well. I can't fault it really. It's got the performance from a power aspect, and it's strong. There's nothing been broken on the bike. If you look at the frame underneath, I run an Enduro Engineering sump guard on it, and the frame is like brand new. You know, there's no dents in the frame rails or anything. The bike is solid, unlike some of the other bikes that I see when I'm working on them at Eurotech on a day-to-day basis. Some of the frame rails on some of the other bikes that I work on are just absolutely mashed. And I'm talking about blue, red and orange bikes. I look at my bike and I compare it to some of the other bikes what are the same age, and they're just battered to hell. This has done a lot of work. this has done X-Ross, it's done Werndu, it's done all sorts of stuff. It's been thrown down hillsides, it's been brought back here, cleaned properly, tidied, got anything that it would need, and the majority of stuff what it's needed to keep it in this sort of, you know, fairly pristine condition are things like new graphics now and again. These plastics what are on are pretty much the original plastics other than the rad shrouds. I've changed the rad shrouds, but the mudguard, the headlight mask, the back end plastics, they are all original. I've just put new graphics on. Still not original radiators, original exhaust pipe. Foot pegs have got a bit of a dent and stuff, but overall the bike is standing up to the test of time. So a few cosmetic things we've changed, but overall the bike is really standing up to the abuse it's had. Yeah, we've got a few things to get for it for the start of the spring. We'll just talk about the FSC 250E, which I bought more recently, and we've got 16 hours on it, 340 miles, I think. Yeah, 340 miles, and the last outing on this was the day after I went with Eddie up the mountain, and I took it to P Farm in Durham. Now, when I took it there, I had the plastics on that. Well, the old graphic covered plastics off this bike on this bike, because I didn't want to get all these new plastics all damaged and scraped up. It's a good job I did as well, because when I came back from P Farm, the thing was just absolutely caked in mud. It was a proper muddy affair. It's amazing how much you know, muddy conditions can have an impact on the wear and tear on your bike, in terms with your clothing rubbing on the plastics, your boots rubbing on the frame guards, etc. It really does take its toll. So I'm glad that I'm just sort of taking a little bit of time out now this winter to keep the bikes clean and start riding them again when the conditions become a little bit better. But as far as this bike goes, I'm really enjoying it. I really am enjoying it. As a little air-cooled 4-stroke EFI 250, it's really got a bit of go about it. So those are the two GPX bikes. Let's have a look at the KTM. So what we've got here is the KTM, the 2017 EXCF 450. Started out as basically 6 days Spanish enduro model, and a couple of years ago we converted it into a lightweight adventure bike. First big trip was Morocco, which will be 2 years this coming March. But you know, I think we've done about 5,500 miles on this bike. A few things that I want to be doing really in the next year on this bike are to take it down to Norfolk, meet up with a friend Dale and do some riding in the Norfolk and Suffolk area. getting to know the lanes down there. There's quite a lot to go at apparently. Also, probably going to do a couple of rallies on it. I want to do the Rydale Rally for one, and also maybe one of the other British Championship rallies, and also maybe a trip to Spain on it, doing a loop from Bilbao into the Picos Mountains on the Tet Trans-European Trail into northern Portugal, and then coming back to Bilbao. Probably something like 600 to 1,000 miles sort of loop, and that'll involve some camping as well. So that's the sort of thing I want to be doing on this bike in the next year, especially, you know, over the summer if we can. So I'm happy with the KTM, happy in how it's turned out, you know, from its initial guise as an enduro bike to a lightweight adventure bike with a Nomad tower on it, etc. It's really, it has shone. I really enjoy riding it, I really do. It's got all the performance that I want, and it's light enough to be able to get me in and out of situations on my own. The lightweight adventure bike is, I think, for me, is the way to go, because I am still more focused on the more technical type of riding. So I do like to get into those sort of tricky scenarios, and this is just big enough to do that. I've taken this bike in places where I would take my TSC 300, you know, doing some sort of hard enduro type work. You know, this bike has literally been up mountains. It really has, into some really tricky situations, and I got out of those situations quite well. So there you go. That's what's happening with the bikes. Some more hard enduro type riding on this coming in the summer. Trail riding galore on this one, this little baby, this little 250, and 300 kit to go on at some point in the next year. And also the 450, maybe a couple of rallies on it, down to Norfolk and Suffolk, riding with some guys down there that I know, and possibly a Spain trip, which I'm going to start sort of planning once I come back from New Zealand. So that's it from a bike aspect. Taking a bit of time out on that front now, so these are going away. If you want to follow me on my other YouTube channel, which is What's Robo Doing, check me out on that. There's a few videos from my recent Scotland trip. There's also the recent trip or sort of weekend that I had with Eddie Meek, talking about his recovery after his quadruple heart bypass. We'll go climbing up Blencathra in the Lake District. So that was a good weekend, was that. And there'll be other stuff coming on there in relation to holidays, other stuff that I do, but not bike related. My fitness stuff. It could be the fact that I'm going out walking again at some different parts of the country, what I'm visiting. All sorts of stuff are going to be on there. Even just doing little jobs in the workshop. That's the idea with that channel, just to create a bit of a library. It's not to generate money or anything like that. It's a bit of fun. You know, YouTube's always been a hobby. I don't really see it as a way of making a living. Never have done. It's always been a bit of a hobby, so I can dip in and dip out as I choose, and I think that's the way it should be. Some people make a living out of it, and good luck to them, but I'm not that sort of bothered about it. It's more of a fun aspect. If I've got something to share with you, I will share it. I'd rather share something which I think you're going to benefit from than just turning out junk every week, if you know what I mean. But I know people are interested in the bikes and what I'm doing, and we've got stuff with Eurotech as well in the next year. You know, the usual sort of stuff: Sea to Sky, Romaniacs, X-Ross, all that sort of stuff. And I will try and bring you some things from the workshop, but it is difficult bringing stuff from the workshop at the time because of the privacy aspects as well. And some people don't like the bikes being on Instagram or YouTube or anything, so I can't really show everything that we do there, although we do a lot. And I do work on a hell of a lot of bikes at times, and I see some stuff, but again, I can't show you the things because of, again, it's customer privacy, etc. So it's a difficult one. I know other people aren't bothered about customer privacy, but I am. And if I can show you something, I will do. I think a lot of people can understand what I'm saying. You've got to be selective on what you show and what you don't show, and particularly when you're working on other people's motorcycles. But sometimes I just put my head in my hands and just think, why are you looking after your bike like this? Why don't you clean it? Why don't you service it properly instead of running it to death and bringing it to us when it's looking like a pile of scrap metal? But anyhow, that's a little bit of a rant over. So that's it from me at the moment on this channel. We're having a bit of a time out until March. If you want to follow me on What's Robbo Doing, by all means do so, please. Please like and subscribe, that you'll see some of the other side of things that I get up to. Alright, bye for now, and Happy New Year.